What's up, everybody? Good morning if you're on the Best Coast. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Good uh, evening if you're somewhere else. Wherever you are. Hello and welcome to the Dynasty Stock Market, brought to you by Fast Draft. If you like drafting and you like drafting fast, draft faster with Fast Draft. That's fastdraft.app.
Yes,
And
sir.
use promo code BOOTH BOOTH for a $25 deposit match. And we got an IDP game. We got the Origins rookie drafts, which have been popping off. We've been sharing them on our shows and stuff, and our Flex 4, which is including veteran players and stuff like that. So we are waiting on landing spots. We are 2/3 of the way through draft season. We have the Senior Bowl and East-West Shrine game out of the way. We just got through the combine. The only thing left to add data to our analyses is pro days. So we got that coming up. And then it's the draft, and we will have all the landing spots. So as of April 26th, that's when rookie draft season starts, and Scott Fishbowl season starts, and all that stuff. So we're here to get you ready. We do have some news, and this is kind of important in the dynasty realm.
1
Kyle
hour ago.
Phillips is now a Raider. Sorry, I did it again. No, the Jets today released Davante Adams. So with Adams, again, we're waiting on landing spot, kind of like we are with rookies. Speculation is out there that he wants to return home to the Bay Area, Slay area, and sign with the San Francisco 49ers, who just offloaded Deebo Samuel and have announced that they are open to trading away Brandon Ayuk. And that would look like a wide receiver room of Davante Adams on the outside and Ricky Pearsall in the Y, and or vice versa, maybe Ricky Pearsall as the X and Davante running motions and stuff like that, and then Jacob Cowing in the slot because he's a natural slot receiver. And in a Kyle Shanahan offense, I'm here for it.
Yeah, man. I would love to see Adams over there. He's still got some juice left in the tank. Definitely not the oldest receiver left in the game. We've seen plenty of guys like an Adam Thielen almost dominate for fantasy at a later age than even this. So
Yeah,
I think
Devontae
Adams had the fewest drops in the league last year. He should be just fine, I think, at least for 2025, wherever he lands. And he's kind of always still just commanded those same amount of targets, even with some good competition in this past year, switching teams midway through the season. Still a good player. So I'm hoping my squad gets him.
Buy the dip.
Yes, sir. So I was hoping I would see some Rams news about Cooper Kupp. They did a trade for a non-Cooper Kupp player, so not much to talk about there. But
we have more breaking news. This is hot off the press at the news desk, Player Profiler News Desk, which is us, Player Profiler Now Plus. Saquon Barkley, 2-year extension.
Okay, there we go. So. Question, you're any backup running back there? Sorry for you. It's not gonna be time.
My Will Shipley shares are like, wait a minute.
That's a reward for winning the Super Bowl in your first year in the team. I mean, he really was the difference maker for them winning those games. Hurts didn't even play all the games this season, but Barkley did. So, shout out to him.
Absolutely. And shout out to your destruction of the of the running back age ceiling.
Absolutely. So we're hoping to see, the running backs keep it going here. Really, the only other thing since we were last on, Deebo Samuel traded to the Washington Commanders. So another guy who's more running back than any other wide receiver out there. So we'll see how much juice he's got left in the tank. But if these running backs are any indication, I think Deebo might surprise some people when he's got a better quarterback, a quarterback upgrade. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, you'd think. Although Aaron Rodgers wasn't completely inefficient last year. He did support Alan Lazard.
Oh, my bad. I switched to Debo already.
Oh.
So I was saying the better quarterback is Jaden Daniels versus Brock Purdy.
I'm going to have to dig into that because Brock Purdy is consistently one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think if you take like the 4-year average, he's probably the most efficient quarterback.
But what do you think about just not the passing? Like, hey, you got a guy who is stressing the defense and the potential
Purdy runs.
Okay, but it's not Jaden Daniels.
It's not Jaden Daniels, but he does. I mean, you've seen him like pop off like 30, 40-yard runs. He doesn't do it as much as Daniels. He doesn't do it as much as the running quarterbacks, but he certainly makes you think about it. You know what I mean? Like one of those things where if you put it on tape, then the defense has to account for it, and Brock Purdy can get loose. So, you know, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I have to like go into a game plan and say, all right, we still need to keep somebody in midfield so that we can account for Brock Purdy escaping the pocket and running with it. You don't have to do that with Aiden O'Connell. You know, you don't have to do that with Derek Carr, but you still do have to do it with Brock Purdy. And you also don't need to do like when you're facing Jaden Daniels, you need to, or Lamar Jackson, you need to account for it all the time.
Yeah.
All
right.
But, you know,
hey, we got the draft room filled, so we can jump into that and talk combine at the same time, right?
Okay, let's do that.
Here we are.
We
okay,
are so
Jeremy D, you gonna do us the honors here? Start us off. We got 30-second clocks.
And Jamie is late. He's going to go back 7 minutes and watch double time until I'm caught up. So he's going to listen to us talk like this, and we're going to.
And if you have a YouTube Premium, they go up to 4x now. So enjoy that.
I don't want to miss a thing.
Here we go. So Ashton Genty still goes number 1. We had a pretty good combine from Amari and Hampton, and I don't really consider this talking to board. It's just folding it in here. I mean, Amari and Hampton at that size, running a 4.47. You know, I was pretty impressed. You know, 38-inch vertical, 10-10 on the broad. He's going at 221 pounds, 5'11". It's pretty much a prototypical size for a running back that you would want. So,
okay.
Yeah, definitely a guy you think is going to get a ton of carries and be an instant starter, whichever team gets put on.
There's a surprise. So let's talk about a couple things. Number one, we'll continue to talk about Hampton in our uncovered NFL mock draft. I mocked him to the Bears. I want to say it was in the first round. I think that's a great fit for him as far as, you know, replacing DeAndre Swift. Number two, these quarterbacks. Now, we have positional scarcity. We also have 3 quarterbacks who it looks like they're going to go in the top 6. That creates artificial dynasty value. So Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Jackson Dart, if they all go in the top 6, they're going to carry their dynasty rookie value for a few years, even if they don't get on the field. So what do you think about taking Cam Ward here, or drafting a quarterback, even though you might not get the production out of some of them the way that you'll get immediately with Genty or Tet McMillan, carrying that value as a stock rather than something that is going to help you in year one?
It's generally the right move because no matter what your perception is right now, we can be wrong, and Cam Ward could end up being the best pick in this class. That's not out of the range. And if you are one of these top picks, a lot of times you're also a team that needs a quarterback. You're not necessarily a running back away or a wide receiver. A lot of times you need multiple flexes, and I think you can fill out that running back or the flex spot later in this draft. So since it is more scarce to get these quarterbacks, it makes sense to take a QB at 102. I mean, since when is in Superflex a 102 QB, weird pick? It's mainly just there's these opinions that these guys may not be that great. You know, we're not expecting a ton of rushing upside to carry that floor, but realistically, you gotta fill that quarterback spot with someone who can actually play. And there's a lot of quarterbacks who are aging out of the NFL right now.
Yeah. So speaking of combine risers and fallers, Quinshawn Judkins going as the RB3 ahead of Travion Henderson, ahead of Caleb Johnson. And I know a lot of people had Caleb Johnson around RB3-4. He's still on the board. Quinshawn Judkins, combine riser.
Yeah, big time. You got to say he's a combine riser, man. He absolutely balled out. He ran a 4.48, and that's at 221 pounds. It's the exact same weight as as Omarion Hampton, who I highlighted. So, I mean, it's the same thing. He's, according to Math Bomb, he is the 23rd highest ranked running back since. Or out of 1,900 other running backs since 1987. So, yeah, those two are some of the best we've seen at the combine, at least.
All right, then we have another combine riser going. Matthew Golden out of Texas, jumping a whole lot of people, including Trey Harris, and going as the wide receiver 5. He outran Isaiah Bond, who proclaimed he was going to beat Xavier Worthy's time from last year and break the 40 record, and he did not.
Yeah, 4.29. This guy is quick. I don't know what it is with these Texas players, man. They're moving. Yeah, Worthy last year break the record. Matthew Golden and Bond out here burning it up at the combine. Some of the fastest to do it.
We got Jamie in the comments saying, I hope Dart falls to 109 to 112 because I have a lot of championship teams I want him on. Draft capital is going to change that. He's probably not going to fall to the back half after the draft. So if you're drafting like normal people in the second half, like after the draft, you're probably not going to get him. Hang on a second. I picked a terrible draft spot. And the other thing is that make your trade up.
Exactly. Like that's the thing we need to be doing. Like that's the action takeaway is make sure you're trading up to go get your guy. Like I know you picked this 110 spot, but realistically, even if you're in a draft with this 210, like combined, maybe if you have a couple third round picks, move up. Go get somebody that you like here, whether that's trying to find a way to 203 to get Matthew Golden or Colson Loveland.
Jaden Higgins. I will not leave rookie drafts this year without Jaden Higgins.
Yeah, I think once the combine steam cools off and some of these running backs get a little more hyped up, I can see Higgins actually sliding still to the third round in real rookie drafts. We'll see what happens when he gets on a team and where they take him, because that's really the ultimate data point that we're looking for. Still is that draft capital and the landing spot to see what that role is going to be.
Especially
he's one of the big receivers in this class. More than most years, we've got some big guys, but that'll be one where he could be X for somebody.
Yeah, and his RAS was so high at his size that he kind of has pushed himself physically into the elite tier. But we talked a whole lot pre-combine about what combine numbers correlate to production in the NFL. And there is a corollary that is more important than anything in the combine, and that's draft capital for wide receivers. Wide receivers with the highest draft capital tend to perform the best over the course of their careers in the NFL. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brian Thomas Jr. notwithstanding. All right. Can you name all the quarterbacks in the league who have a Super Bowl ring?
It's Rodgers, it's Stafford,
Mahomes.
You've got Mahomes, and obviously now Hurts.
Yeah. Let's see.
And I was thinking he was talking about active starters. Like I'm sure there's
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nick Foles. No. Trying to think. Jordan Love. No, he wasn't there yet. There's got to be a bunch of backups and stuff too.
Yeah, no, I see that graphic on like NFL.com or the website, the show, whatever. Sometimes, but they always hyphen, asterisk active players. Oh, Russell Wilson, duh.
All right, we got another draft combine riser in Giddens.
That's who I took here.
Yeah, he is. He's another one of those guys that looks like he's going to be special. And then I have an opportunity right now to take another one, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that as soon as I find him. Yep. All right.
There we go.
I don't hate Besh in the third round. I'd prefer him in the fourth, but I was looking through some of the other guys, and I'm you have to use mock drafts to kind of like see what you're getting. So sometimes I like to go high, sometimes I like to like in the top half of the draft, sometimes I like picking from the back half, just because I want to have a good idea of what's there, especially if I'm going to be making trades in the draft room on draft day. I'm going to need to know that if I want Besh, I'm going to have to like drop back. If I want Fannin, I definitely have to move up ahead of 311, 310, 39, right? So this is a good way to gauge kind of where you need to sit if you're making trades. Also, I have so many Fannin shares, like especially in fast draft, and I tend to take him in just about every rookie mock. So what are the scenarios if I don't take him? I take Besh instead. Do I still get my other guys later? There goes Ferguson. He's a draft riser or a combine riser.
He's an absolute combine riser. I was wondering if you thought Fannin was a loser because the 40 wasn't, as fast as we might thought it was going to be based on his size.
Some people have him as a faller because of his combine performance, but I talked about it on the show. You have to look at it in relative terms. He still showed supreme athleticism at the tight end position, so I don't think that's going to change. It is a great opportunity for him to lose a little bit of value and become more affordable for you in your rookie drafts.
Yeah. And real quick, the ultimate faller so far, I gotta say,
Chev.
You gonna be all right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's known for sniping. You knew what time it was.
He didn't snipe me. I still have some ways to go before my pick, but I love Rocket Sanders.
And real quick, we'll go ahead and show this 22 out of 1,900 running backs. That's DJ Giddens there. So a really good combine from him. Shout out to that guy.
Another combine riser I just took, Isaac Tesla.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe because you weren't on Twitter, Jamie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey guys, this is Tesla here, out here cooking.
Woo pig.
Yeah, Isaac Tesla, decent combine as well. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm on the clock, so I gotta focus for a sec.
I wish Tesla had done the bench press because that is a high corollary, but he didn't. Another guy, Quinn Ewers, didn't really do much to hurt himself, which is a win in my book. And I've talked on the show, especially with quarterbacks with value carrying over year, grab Quinn Ewers, throw him in your taxi squad, and sit on him for a couple years because he'll make it. He'll make it eventually.
Yeah, you said it over and over. You just got to buy into the original scouting grade he got coming from 24/7 Sports out of high school. Perfect prospect grade. A rare few of those guys that have that, and they usually get some kind of role in the NFL.
Jamie doesn't tweet, so here's what we should do. Whenever we set up the show on YouTube, we should then set up the draft room on Sleeper, then immediately link the Sleeper draft room in the comments of the thumbnail on YouTube, and that way Jamie can get in.
Okay.
It's all for you,
So
Jamie.
Sleeper draft room in. You said in the comments, or did you
Yeah,
say in
so
the
you
description?
go to
Okay.
make the sleeper draft room.
Yeah.
Copy
Okay.
the link.
In the comments. Gotcha.
Comments
Okay.
on YouTube.
Sure.
All right, and the sleeper chat is popping. We got Dustin. I keep seeing his little avatar come up, but I'm not really watching.
So Tez Johnson, that was a big faller. Someone I took in our last draft right before the combine. So yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that you knew could be a mistake when you don't lean into some of these running backs. You got to hit on the right receiver that you think is actually going to get an opportunity. And there's just so many things that were going against him that we needed him to run a fast time. He can still get open in NFL, but it's like maybe he can't to the degree that we need. So you know that the upside for a wide receiver one role is rarely ever going to be there, but then even wide receiver two it feels like it's a little bit in doubt. So Tez Johnson, a big faller, and we got our final pick coming up here.
I can't believe I just won another mock draft. I win every mock draft.
Internet must be glitching.
Savion Williams in the 5th round all day.
Yeah, Kyle Monungai, good pick there.
What?
Yeah, Kyle Monungai, good pick here to finish this out. Yeah, Savion's super glitchy himself. He's a twitchy athlete, a little bit raw, but I like him. Like the size, really big. So you got some good players there. Some nice little receiver run.
Oh, Dustin. Challenge in the chat. I was at 0. I was at 0.
Thank you everybody for jumping in this one. Appreciate it. Yeah, we did mock right before the combine, so skip to the end of that one, take a look, see what changed a little bit. I know Judkins wasn't going this high before. He was behind Henderson for sure. He was also behind Caleb Johnson. Of the running backs, I would say Caleb Johnson was a big loser from the top 3 perspective, but he's still a guy that we're all going to be drafting, and we're going to be happy about it, I bet. Not too concerned there. Devin Neal, maybe it wasn't, a crazy riser, but I still think we knew what he was, and he's a smooth pass catcher. You can see that in those drills. Dylan Sampson looked good. We wanted him to run the 40. He didn't. Oh, well. Scatteraboo didn't run the 40. Had good explosiveness from the broad jump and the vertical. Ollie Gordon fell quite a bit, I would say. And since Dart was playing, better than anyone that was participating, Dart was a riser before. I think it's just kind of adding to it a little bit. I don't think he's exploding up because during those quarterback drills, NFL Network they're like doing interviews with Shadur Sanders. Like they barely even care about the rest of these quarterbacks.
Right.
So,
I watched. So there's somebody that I follow on YouTube who is a former NFL quarterback, and he does quarterback breakdowns. And he had a Jackson Dart breakdown a few weeks ago. It was right around the Senior Bowl, and he used game tape and then Senior Bowl footage. He just did another one on Sunday, and super impressed. So, I mean, I have been saying for months that Jackson Dart is my QB1.
So do the Raiders listen this time? We're about to find out.
And I saw today he may not be available at 106. I do want to address a couple things in the chat. Number one, in the sleeper chat, Dustin, I lost a piece of my soul having to make a 5th round rookie mock pick. What kind of torture is that? Some people have 5 round rookie mocks. I personally do. And knowing that I can load up on 4th rounders and Savion Williams is going to be there. Savion Williams has the profile to succeed in the NFL. It may look like another Quentin Johnston comp, whatever. But I like him. And you have to fill out your roster. And if you take these 4th and 5th round flyers, and they hit like a Puka Nakua, then you're in good shape. Now, granted, my home league is only 50 total picks, so our draft ends right at Horn. So the other guys would go undrafted, but I mean, it just tells you, like, now I know I can maybe bank on Savion Williams being a waiver pickup. Are you kidding me? And then the other one is okay. Now I have
other
two more.
comment. Gotcha.
Yeah, Kurt Benkert. Started watching him because he absolutely torches Madden, and it's fun to watch him do that. Just because he uses like some of his old playbook sheets, so he'll go in and he'll take like his former Falcons like game day sheet and only use those plays, and he plays against like some of the Madden Championship Series. I've been an MCS guy for a long time, and he plays against some of like the better players that are out there right now, and he wins. He's good. He's got a great mind, and it's helped make me a better football brain. Also, Jamie, I have a stud, and that's Jackson Dart, and everybody else that I got are going to be sleeper guys. So sometimes it's better to come out with 5 sleepers than to come out with 1 stud and 4 garbage picks. So there you have that.
Yeah, it's tough at the back of the draft, but assume he's actually a winning team. Got yourself a little QB3 action there, and maybe some flex fill-ins.
We're Jackson Dart getting steamed up like nobody's business. Kurt is the best prospect interviewer for QBs. Yes. Watches Milrow and Dart interviews. Yes. The other guy that I like to watch is former UC Davis Aggies legend JT O'Sullivan. He does some really good quarterback breakdowns. He does in-season NFL player breakdowns too. So he'll have like a video that'll pop that'll be like Jalen Hurts versus Cincinnati, whatever, from week 14, and he gets into it too. And he's super sharp. The QB School is the name of his YouTube channel. You all should be watching it. Every kind of content that you can like pull into your brain going to make you a better fantasy football player, whether it's our show or Bankert's show or JT. Just soak up all the knowledge that you can.
Yeah, and I like those because, like, admittedly, quarterback evaluation is something I'm trying to just get somewhat better on. Like last year, just coming into the content game, I was like, man, like I think I like Drake May, but like I want to make sure that I'm not just looking at the wrong things here. So I'm watching guys like that to just get kind of their takes. I'm not pretending like I know everything, but still at the same time, you got to make a pick. So you want it to be the right one, and you're not stuck with holding the bag on somebody.
At Devi Deep Dive, go follow.
Boom.
But I don't appreciate the shade. You got to be following us. We're come on. Go into a show and talk about another show.
Yeah, go check out Dynasty Degens. They got shows coming out multiple times throughout the week.
Yeah, Dynasty Degens, player profiler, together at last. Is it weird that Bigz is a guy in like to what? Are you saying are you asking if it's weird that I am a guy you like to watch? No, because I can promise you one thing with every show I do: data-driven, unhinged bullshit. I bring
Facts.
it. Let's go ahead and look at some of these teams and just verify that I have won another mock draft. I don't think I've ever lost a mock draft.
Okay, so you've got Ashton Genty. You know what? Starting the draft, you're getting the first pick in every round, but round 2, they went Travis Hunter. If he does not play both sides of the ball, that could hurt. The we didn't say whether this was tight end premium or not. We basically just
We always assume it is.
yeah, we always assume it is. So Loveland, in theory, could have more utility than the Travis Hunter, for sure. Matthew Golden could be a riser. I think either of those two picks might be better. So we'll see if Bond, as back to that first team, if Bond could be, more than just kind of that speed threat guy. That would be great. But I don't like the Tez Johnson right now. I'm basically not drafting him anymore.
I mean, let's break this one down. Genty, no brainer, right?
Yeah.
Then you have Travis Hunter, who's a question mark. You have Isaiah Bond, who may have done more to kill his draft stock than anybody else at the combine. You have Tez Johnson, who already was falling, and he's like right there too. And then Nick Nash, who was very, very productive in his last 2 years at San Jose State. I will give him that. But the fact that he's a 6-year senior coming out is that, I mean, profile wise, that's scary. So there is a lot of upside on this team. There is almost virtually no floor on this team. It is boomer busts, and I don't hate it. I mean, what are we doing? We're doing a rookie mock draft. So, if you have a boom candidate, go ahead and grab him, especially in the 4th or 5th round. Tez Johnson is a route machine. Like, that dude is he is a good route runner. It's just the fact that he doesn't even weigh 160 pounds. And he's not fast at under 160 pounds. That hurts. And Bond wouldn't have fallen so much if he had kept his mouth shut. Probably true.
He's still fast at the end of the day, but the problem is always we wonder with the speed threat guys, can he be more than a speed threat? Worthy coming out, we were confident that he was more than a speed threat. I'm not as confident in Isaiah Bond. He shrunk and disappeared in that final year at Texas. So it's just one of those things where I don't have any other reason to think that he can hurdle that, because when it was Xavier Worthy, most receivers like him did not pan out very well.
Right.
But we were very confident that he had that ability. He ended up having that ability to do more. But right now, we should just go right back to what we usually think with some of the speed threat guys. Maybe it's just not in the cards for them to be big-time producers for fantasy football.
Well, here's the thing. We have some minimum thresholds for fantasy production at each position. At running back, you have to have an RAS score of at least 5 or more. You have to weigh at least 195 pounds or more. You have to have a 4.63 or faster 40 and a 30-inch or plus vert. Now, when I say you have to, what I mean is when we look at breakdowns of top 12 and top 24 performances at different positions, the number of guys that hit that are under those thresholds is very, very low. At the running back position, you have some guys like under 4 or slower than 4.63 40, lower than 195. You have like a couple of guys that have hit historically. Kyron Williams, Shady McCoy. That's about it, right? Now, the thing is, like, it's okay if you have a RAS score that's under 5 as long as you hit the other thresholds. When we start to get into undrafted territory, that's when you start missing a lot of those thresholds. And the thing about low weight wide receivers is they have to be faster than a 4.62. They have to weigh more than 185 pounds with a 33-inch vert and a RAS score of 5. When you start combining stuff like, well, he doesn't hit the weight threshold. He was a little bit slower than this. His vert was 31 inches. Like, that's when you start seeing guys, okay, he might be Antonio Brown or Jarvis Landry, or he might hit, but there were like 3 wide receivers that didn't hit those thresholds in history that have had a top 24 wide receiver season. At tight end, it's RAS of 6.5, 40 of 4.72, weight of 240, and vert of 31. Fannin hit all of those thresholds, so he's fine. There's not one thing to like ding him on. You have a lot of guys throughout this combine at running back and wide receiver that have combinations of missing those thresholds, and that scares me. Bond and Tez are two of those guys. They weren't as fast as we thought they were going to be, and they didn't weigh as much as we thought that they would, and that's not a good formula.
All right, so we'll keep rolling through these. We did talk about Cam already in that situation, and you got yourself a solid tight end. We thinking Colston Loveland, and filling it out with running backs.
RJ Harvey could be a steal.
Yep, that's for sure. And Edwards actually had a good combine, for what it's worth. So
the thing about Edwards is we have to kind of put him in the framework of he was behind Corum at Michigan. He was at Michigan for 4 years, so he doesn't have age on his side. He had an okay combine, but there were some years that the production just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so, he has to have draft capital that beats Corum, because Corum was markedly better at Michigan, regardless of their combine numbers.
All right, and then Dynasty, big, what was it? Dynasty Bros. Nice.
This is a great draft.
Yeah, Hampton, Martin Hampton. You got Matthew Golden, Rashard Smith, nice, and then the combine winner at the tight end position, Terrence Ferguson here. So I like it.
And Will Howard,
yeah.
If he gets drafted in the second round by the Raiders and goes into a quarterback competition, he could be a starter day one. He knows Chip Kelly, and Chip Kelly is not beholden to Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. Will Howard could be the Raiders' starting quarterback to start off 2025. So if you got that in the 5th round, you're in pretty good shape.
All right, I went Tech McMillan here.
Love it.
And Trey Harris.
Love it.
DJ Giddens, a combine winner.
Love
it. And Jaden Blue. Yeah, he was, I think, a 4.39 speed.
That's a 4th round pick.
That's a 4th round pick. Who knows? This could be I don't know, man. Isaac Orindo. Who knows? Gunnar Helm, a guy I like at the end of drafts. Just give me a tight end.
I'm looking at guys that I might have taken over Helm, or looking for guys that I might have taken over.
Yeah, I was going to take Marks, but that would have been my pick most likely there. How about you? Just with the tight end premium, I was like, let me just get one of these guys.
I think in the 5th round. So we're looking at Woody Marks, Jaquindon Jackson, Savion Williams, and Brew McCoy, who's a guy that's not being talked about, but he's the former #1 wide receiver recruit in the country. He's had some problems along the way, but in the 5th round, take a shot on McCoy.
All right. I'll be taking some of that advice.
Here
we go. So Luther Burden. We got Devin Neal. Yeah, what's up, Chef? Devin Neal, Restrepo. Yeah, we'll get you next. And Quinn Ewers and Ty Felton. So we already said we like the Ewers pick that late. Burden had a great combine. During his gauntlet drill, he was running a 4 to 40-yard dash, a little bit faster when he's actually running the 40-yard dash, I meant to say. So, yeah, man, I like the picks here.
Devin Neal is a guy that at the combine didn't hurt his stock, didn't help his stock.
Wasn't great.
He's sitting there in that 3rd or 4th tier of running backs, like between 6 and 12. There's going to be a lot of movement with those middle picks. Restrepo, I try not to use one data point to make or break my opinion on a player, but sometimes it happens. So like go going back a few years, I watched one Zach Wilson game and knew that I was never going to own him in fantasy. I watched Will Levis. Same thing.
Oh yeah.
Xavier Restrepo, as soon as I saw him on the practice field at the Senior Bowl, I knew I will never. I was very interested in Restrepo going into the Senior Bowl. As soon as I saw him at practice on day one, I knew that I will never own him. Quinn Ewers is a guy that I've waffled on because I want to love his 5-star recruit profile. He didn't progress from his sophomore to junior season. That's something that you really want to see from a quarterback is improvement year over year. He actually regressed a little bit. He threw more interceptions with about the same number of yards and touchdowns. So I asked on this show and a couple other shows, is that a Steve Sarkisian thing? Is he not going to be able to develop quarterbacks? Is it a system thing? And then it came out after that Ewers had been hurt with an oblique injury for 12 weeks of the season. Maybe Quinn Ewers outplays his draft stock. I'm willing to take that chance.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Chev, it's your time.
Quinn Sewers, love it.
Quinshon Judkins, big riser. We did talk about that. Him and Hampton both had that basically the same RAS score, really close to each other. Some of the best, like top 25 all time, top 30 all time. And then, Higgins, big guy. He had himself a good combine as well. And I think we got his stuff up here. So 9.87 RAS score, 214, 6'4", and vertical 39 inches, broad jump 2.8. I mean, this is really good for a guy this big. The 40 was 4.47, so he can move, he could jump, and he's basically the catch radius is just potentially going to be better than anyone else to compare. If we're talking Ted McMillan and Higgins, they're kind of the biggest guys in the class.
And I'm not really surprised at those splits at all because he's a long guy. So it's going to take him a little bit longer to unfurl his stride. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's not going to have choppy, quick steps like a short guy. And so, like once he got up to speed, he was just fine. Love the draft, Chev. This is if it wasn't for mine, this would probably be the winner.
All right. And I guess because this person already closed out, it won't let me click on there. So Travion Henderson, Scattaboo, Shaw Tootin, he was the running back combine riser, just give it to him, winner. He performed very well. And also, Mason Taylor, this is a guy that did himself a good service, got some money probably off of this draft. Dylan Gabriel, I guess a what the heck quarterback there. So I think overall at the 7th spot, pretty decent.
Gabriel looked like garbage. It was a 180-degree turn from the Senior Bowl where in those practice drills, he looked like he couldn't miss. And he was all over the place at the combine. Did not look good at all. One of the things is they talk about, and they kept hammering this on a lot of times they don't really talk about it during the combine broadcast, but they kept hammering it this time where they've never thrown to these wide receivers before.
Yeah.
Okay. Jackson Dart was throwing drills to Jaden Higgins, Jack Besh, a bunch of other guys. I watched him in practices with those guys at the Senior Bowl. So it's not like they were totally unfamiliar with him. Gabriel was the same. But yeah, I love the Tootin pick in the 3rd round. I love the Scattaboo pick in the 2nd round. There are some people who think with the right landing spot, Scattaboo could be one of the top 5 running backs in this class. But Dylan Gabriel, on top of the fact that he's 5'10", and that just doesn't translate to successful NFL quarterback. I like the Mason Taylor pick, but Dylan Gabriel, yeah.
How about you start us off on this next one?
So Emeka Egbuka is absolutely wide receiver 3 in this class. Some people might have him as wide receiver 2. He had a lot of steam, and he very well, if it hadn't been, well, he's solid at 3. I think Luther Burden had a down year, but people are still like buying into the profile. And Egbuka, I mean, Brian Hartline makes them. It's kind of like if you find your favorite Paris boulangerie, and you this is the a great croissant, and you just keep going back to that one. That's Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline is a good Paris croissant. I really stretched that one, didn't I? Dylan Sampson, again, like you mentioned, we want to see his pro day. Damian Martinez, I didn't think that he had a very good combine. Jarquez Hunter is a good dude. Woody Marks could definitely be a passing game threat, but is probably not going to lead a backfield. But yeah, I love the Egbuka pick. You have to nail your first round pick, and
yeah,
banking on a top 5 wide receiver coming out of Ohio State is a really good way to do that.
Sweet. Yeah, let's roll to this next one. Cambodian milk here. We got Tyler Warren, nice. Elikeo Manor, Elijah Arroyo, Trevor Etienne,
Jaquindon.
and Jaquindon Jackson.
I like this one. I think Elijah Arroyo being hurt didn't help his draft stock yet. He did get a lot of eyes on him and a lot of mouths moving at the Senior Bowl. I think that's going to help. And if he hadn't hurt himself at the Senior Bowl, he would have probably had a better combine than a lot of people saw coming. I have had this conversation with Chev about me being out on Elikeo Manor. He has, if you take away his game against Colorado in 2023, where he torched Travis Hunter, if you start looking at his drop stats,
was it just the first half?
Yeah. You start looking at his drop stats, his quarterback passer rating that he creates. I don't know if analytically Ao Manor lives up to his combine numbers or some of his production. And I'm very skeptical with Ao Manor. A lot of people love him, and Chev loves him because of what he did to Colorado. But there are some underlying red flags that are scaring me off. Love Trevor Etienne.
Real quick, here's the simulcast of Isaiah Bond, Matthew Golden, and Xavier Worthy running the 40 over the years. Just comparison. You got Worthy up front, of course. But yeah, it's a full length stride that Worthy's got over Golden and Golden's got over Bond. So that's the difference, that extra step on a receiver or on a DB trying to guard the receiver. Boom. All right, let's keep rolling, get ourselves out of here.
I love the hate. I love the hate in the chat. Get that chat going. Tell me why I'm an idiot.
Okay, so we got Dart, we've got your boy Ollie Gordon, Jack Besh. I feel like you definitely talked about all these guys already.
Yeah.
So
I didn't talk.
I think it was a good draft. Let's look at the others because you're trying to do this from the standpoint of did you win the draft. So let's go to the next person.
Oh, there's no question.
So you got Shadur Sanders. So they got a quarterback. They end up auto drafting Milrow. Someone had to do it. And then Harold Fannin Jr., Torrey Horton, Khalil Mullins. They did not beat you in the draft. And this is what I was trying to say was Kyle. So you got Caleb Johnson, Jalen Royals, Jordan James, Ronnie Gasson, and Kyle Munungai.
Yeah, Dustin had a fantastic draft too.
Yeah, I like James. I think this is solid. So who won the draft? Y'all let us know in the chat.
I mean, it's always me. I've never lost a mock draft.
Bigz has never lost a mock draft in his life. All right, well, Appreciate you guys jumping in here with us for this edition of the post combine rookie mock draft. Really appreciate everyone for joining us today. And
we should do a whole hour just talking about bad Bigz takes.
yeah. All right, y'all. Well, we will see y'all next time, but let the people know where they can find you and closing thoughts.
Play Fast Draft. If you want to draft faster with Fast Draft. Use promo code BOOTH for a $25 deposit match. That's BOOTH. And yeah, love it. Thank you guys for watching.
See ya.